Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute, but I'm coming to you today with a banger. Today we're going to make the Scout by Evergreen threads. This is the mini size. Today we're going to be making the medium. So if you're a person that doesn't like to listen to the chatter in the beginning, check down below. There's timestamps and you can jump right into sewing. So this bag, y'all, so cute, right? For the mini size, there is this option here. You can leave this off totally. It goes down to about right here. That's the only things that she recommends for this size because it is smaller. It has a back slip pocket here, which you could omit if you wanted to. And probably one of the best things about this bag, in my opinion, are these like stretchy pockets in here. They're perfect. If you want to see how much I can pack in this bag, go ahead and check out my Instagram. I made a reel for it. And you can check and see it can hold so much stuff. Water bottle, everything. It really is a good little bag. My friend Amberly, who made this pattern, she uses it as a diaper bag a lot. I saw her use it as a camera bag. It's just a really fun, versatile bag. These are, it's a continuous pocket, so it does connect all the way through. And this is like a little stretchy right here, so that's really fun. But my phone does fit right here on the side. On this one, I added a little D-ring so I could clip, you know, a little hand sanitizer, or if you're wearing ears to the park, maybe like a little ear holder here. I thought it'd be fun. And just a note too, on this bag, your materials really do matter. On this one, I probably used too thick of a vinyl, honestly, but you know me, I love a structure bag. But it was a little bit more challenging. So if you're making this on a domestic machine, which is possible, you're just going to really want to watch your materials, particularly this front pocket here. I know she gives recommended materials in the pattern, and I would definitely try those the very first time that you make this bag, just so you can get a feel for it. I've changed my materials for my next one because it gets a little bulky down here, and these little side pocket connectors here. So it has an elastic because it's an elastic here, but this I did the Luxe vinyl from Mormino, and it's too thick. Don't do it. This piece right here needs to be like a woven or a waterproof canvas or a wax canvas. It shouldn't be vinyl. Trust me, it shouldn't be vinyl. Trust me, it shouldn't be vinyl. Okay? I did it and I regretted it. We got it done! And I'm not saying you couldn't get it done, but don't give yourself such a headache for such a small piece, you know? And also another thing I added on this one is this little D-ring on the inside so I could clip something to it. I won't be doing it on the medium we're making today, but this is Theratex from Fabric Therapy. This is the Luxe vinyl from Fabric Therapy. The straps are from Weft and Warp, and I just put some Mormino Luxe vinyl on top of it. I also did a vinyl handle here, so I'm going to be changing this for the one we're doing today. We're going to do just webbing because I have thinner tri-glides this time, and I needed to beef it up to make these tri-glides work because they were bigger. I also added piping on this pocket here. This is not part of the pattern, it's just something extra that I did. I do have a piping video, and you could add it if you're a more experienced bag maker. So, just so you know, there were some testers that added piping, and it's a really cute look. Not necessary, but very cute. My idea was, I want to make a Russell inspired bag. So that's what we're going to do. I got some really fun things. Everything's linked below, so if there's anything that you want to make, or if you want to make this exact bag, you can. So let's get into the pieces. This is the main front panel. It'll be the thing that curves around. It's a little bit like a dip for going around the zipper, but that'll end up being how it is. This is Theratex from Fabric Therapy. in the color Toffee. And so that's my lining. My exterior though is going to be this vinyl from Tulip Bee. I think it's called Goldenrod or it's golden something. I'll link it below, but it's really nice. And this vinyl would be good for a domestic machine too. So I'm trying to keep my stuff light this time. See how much different it makes for me. It's the main front panel. You need a lining and an exterior. Now I'm gonna do on mine the little zipper pocket just like I did on this one here. For this one again. Even though it's the larger one. So I have like my zipper overlay, and this is also from Tulip Bee. It's like an orange color. The name will be below. I don't remember exactly, but I have this zipper tape from Georgia Girl Stitches. Literally, their stuff is so good. And then you're gonna need your corresponding lining piece to be the lining of that pocket that we'll be making. So I'm just using the same Theratex. So for my strap connectors, I'm going to be using a waxed canvas. So that's what I have here, 2 pieces of that. Remember those pocket extenders I was talking about? I'm using waxed canvas this time. And you just need 2 cuts, 1 for each side. I also am going to make another little D-ring hanging tab because I liked it. So I have a little piece of that Tulip Bee vinyl here, and I do have a little bit of Jacobo Light just down the middle. So this is 1 inch by 3 inch. If you want to make a 1/2 inch D-ring little hangy thing with me, that's what I'm going to do. You also have your zipper extender. So I have a lining and an exterior, and this is going to be this part of the bag right here. This little guy right here. That's the zipper extender, okay? Now we have our curved pocket. This is the front one that you'll mainly see on the bag. Right here. That's the print right here. So for this one, I'm going for Russell's sash where he has all his little scalp patches on. Isn't that funny? And this is called a scalp. That wasn't on purpose, but that's pretty cool. So this is the wax canvas. This is actually going to be my exterior. And I thought it'd be perfect if we look at his little, I'm not sure what it's called, but see that little thing with all those pins on there, all those little badges? So we're going to do that, but this, and I have 1 of that, and then Theratex lining. This you won't really even see, but, so I have 2 cuts of those. 1 lining and 1 exterior. And I'm keeping it light. You can slide some fleece in here. There's a pattern piece for that. I'm gonna see how it is without doing that. Not that I couldn't add it, but I'm just trying to make this a lighter bag because I always just go so insane. But the thing is, what I found, there's a company on Etsy, and I don't remember their name at the time, but I'll link them below. And they make all of Russell's little badges as pins. They're just little pins, right? Let's see. They even have a grape soda one. Look at that. See, and it's just a pin. So once I make the bag, I'm going to pin these across the front to look just like his little, what is it, a sash? I'm not quite sure what it's called technically, but all those little pins right there, we're going to add on the front, on this front curved pocket. I did not cut out interfacing, or, you know, the interfacing to slide inside of it yet, because I'm going to see how I like it without it. Next we have our back panel. So I have that exterior vinyl and yellow again for Russell's main clothes. And then, so to kind of like do his little tie around his neck, again, I don't know the technical name for it. That's going to be what this orange is, because it's like a little orange handkerchief he has tied. So I thought, okay, that's kind of tying it in, right? Because it's inspired. So I really like that. I thought that was pretty clever. So on this back panel, you're going to have exterior and liner. So on this exterior, we're going to be doing the little tiny zipper pocket down here too. So you're going to need all the stuff for that. If you're going to do that. You don't have to do it. Another thing we got here just from, now this piece right here, this is for Stretchy Pocket A, okay? Don't be like me on my first one, I did it out of woven and I interfaced the woven. And it was hard. It was hard. I had to make my elastic way shorter because the fabric was too stiff. It didn't want to scrunch very well. It ended up working out fine, but if you want to do woven, just leave it out of like this middle part right here. Just do an inch on each side of the fold because you're going to end up sliding the elastic through like a 1-inch channel we'll make. But I'm just using Theratex today, which I think will be perfect for this stretchy pocket. So this is for that back panel zipper pocket that we'll be doing. It kind of goes sideways, not this way, like sideways. So these are 2 pieces cut out of the lining for that. On the interior, there is a magnetic snap pocket to go ahead and put that on the back panel. So I have my liner. It's just the inside's just going to all be this color. In the pattern, they show you how to put a magnetic snap for it. I'm not going to put a magnetic snap because I just feel like in the one I have now, I don't really need it. You know, so when I have my Kindle in there, I can't snap it. So I just feel like, I don't really need it. I just need a separate compartment, which this bag is full of compartments. Here is my lid. So I have an exterior and a lining for that. And I don't have this interface because we are going to berth it through the bottom here once we attach the zipper. The hardest part of this whole bag is the lid. I promise you, it's the lid. I'm not sure I would make this bag as a beginner, but if you've made a few bags, you'll be fine. Following the directions, they're great. But the lid is the hardest part. And I say this because I made 3 for the first bag. And it's not Amberly's design fault or instructions. It's just I have never really made one like this, and it was a little bit difficult for me, but I got it down. So this was the first one I made. These are all cut because I took the zipper pulls off, and it was great, except for, you know what I forgot to put the foam in here, and it really does need it because it'll sink in if not. I did attach this one with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, which is hard. This corner right here is hard. Both of these corners, but particularly this one, if it's the last one you're sewing, is hard. So this was the first one I made, and I was like, oh, I struggled. Let me make another one because I wanted that beefiness in there. My second one, I pulled too much on the zipper. Look how wavy it is. Look how wavy it is. So here's the opening that you end up getting on the mini to put your foam in. So this was not, I wasn't doing that. No way, no how. This one I did attach at, I think it's, this one looks like I did, yeah. I did a 1/4 inch, but I was pulling too much, so this was trash. And then the one I ended up with keeping on here, I did it with a 1/4 inch, which was great. It works fine with a 1/4 inch. The only thing I will say is that it's a little bit poofy over. Do you see that? And that's because it's not sewn in enough. But I was having, listen, I don't like the 3/8 inch seam allowance anyways. It doesn't matter what bag it's on. But I really didn't like it on this flap. That my 3rd time around, I said, F this, we're going to 1/4. And it's fine. It's fine at a 1/4. And the only thing I would also want, so you see mine is still kind of caving in just a little. And I know part of that is because this isn't sucked in enough with the right seam allowance. But I think what I'm going to do, because you don't want to fuse any interfacing on the vinyl before you turn it out, I'm going to slide like a piece of cardboard in there, I think. A piece of cardboard and a piece of foam. I'm going to try it because I want it to be rock solid, you know. I want it to be rock solid. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. We'll see. We'll learn together. We'll see if it works, you know. Watch the video. You'll see. All right. So that's our lid. It's just that. And then I'm going to slide cardboard and foam in there. All right. We're double duty in it. Now, this is my base. Base. Yes. See? I'm going to be doing the foam on this bag entirely out of the seams because it does get pretty thick around those bottom corners. Basically, we're doing Y seams, which are great. It's not hard. If you've never done it before, try it. But I don't want foam in there. But you can leave foam in there. But I don't want foam in there. I just want to see the difference. I'm doing a little experiment. So what I did, okay, on my base. This is the base, the exterior base. Which it would be great. This size looks like it's pretty good for purse feet too, if that's your jam, but I'm not going to do it. I did the foam out of the seams, but I did woven interfacing over it. Little trick I learned from Erica Lee at Lavender and Twine. Okay. That's just the first time I ever had seen that was with her. And so that's what I did. So on the outside, I have no foam actually attached to my vinyl, so I think it should be pretty good, not wrinkle or anything. But then the woven is over it, and I'm using the oh my gosh, you guys, have you ever tried the IndoFuse Plus from IndoLove Kreations? You guys, it is like a certain interfacing that used to be sold a long time ago, if you've been doing this long enough, that we as makers collectively, most of us chose not to purchase that interfacing anymore, even though it was the best. So I like the IndoFuse Plus. I also really like the stuff from Cast Iron Handcrafted, but it was sold out. So I have my, I already interfaced this one, but I have the lining and the exterior. So here's my foam pieces. We're just doing some regular by Annie, soft and stable, okay? So you're going to have a back panel, you're going to have a front panel, and you're going to have a lid. And we will be throwing in some cardboard in there, but I don't have those cut yet. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm in the throes of a cold, so it's a little rough over here. We got our main zipper. Again, that's Georgia Girl Stitches, right? Now, she recommends 3/4 inch elastic. I got this on Amazon. It's in my store. It's just brown, and I love it. You're gonna need, this is for the stretchy pocket, and then you need 2 little tiny pieces, and these are for the side pockets, right? So we got those. I got my 2 cuts of my straps, okay? I got my handle. I'm doing it just like the pattern this time. On this one, I made it out of vinyl because I wanted it to match, you know, pulling the green through, which is fine. It worked great. So if that's something you want to do, just do it. These are my D-ring connectors, so I'm not doing woven today, I'm just doing the webbing. And this webbing is from Georgia Girl Stitches too. Luxury. Tell me what, I got so much of it. Now all this hardware is from Mormino. I got my little woven tag too. I don't have, so like the antique bronze is like my new era of antique bronze, which I used to hate it. You guys, I hated it. But now I'm like obsessed with it, and I don't have metal back tags, so I have to order some. Here coming up. I will eventually, I'll get there. But I don't have it now, so I won't have a back tag on this bag. But I am going to do a little woven just in the seam, like I did on the other one. I like that. So, for this, I have 2 1.5 inch D-ring connectors. Okay, in antique bronze. These are all from Mormino. I have these slim slide adjusters or tri-glides, whatever whatever your preference is. I grabbed the magnetic snap for the inside, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I might do it, I don't know. And then you need 2 swivel clasps because that's how the straps hook down to the connectors, okay? Very simple. I have 1/2 inch D-ring to make that little accent here for hanging stuff. See it? That little bit right there? This is extra. This isn't part of the pattern, it's just me. And then you're gonna need some zippers. You need 2 for your main lid. You could get by with 1. 2 makes it easier, right? And I love these little chunky guys from Georgia Girl Stitches. Oh, they're so good. So I got 2 of those, and then I have 1 for that main front pocket, right? That little main one on the curved pocket. And then I have this one from Mormino, and it will be for the back zipper pocket. There's no zipper pockets on the inside lining. You could easily add it. I'm sure most of you who are watching this have other patterns that add zipper pockets on the lining, and you would just follow that. I won't be doing it today because I don't need it. I got stretchy pockets. Like, that's stretchy pocket life now. And the last thing, I don't know if I'm going to add this, but I got this really cute patch from Enchanted Patches. Do you see it's like all the Polaroids? I might add it. I'm not going to add it to the front anywhere because that's maybe a little too much, although I would argue nothing is too much. But I was thinking, since I'm not going to have a back slip pocket, maybe I can just put it on the back, like over across the top. That might be cute, right? I might do that. Or on the inside, above the slip pocket on the back panel. That could be cute too. I'll also be sewing on my Juki 1181N. And I'm using a size 19 needle. And I'm going to be using, I don't know this color name. Okay. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. It's from Siah Swag. Okay. Just, it looks perfect to me. It matches the vinyl so well. Yes, let's do that. Okay, I forgot to tell you that, so I just wanted to tell you real quick. Okay, so those are all the pieces and what we're doing for this bag. So let's start making it. Also, I haven't sewn in a long time, okay? I've been really busy at work. We listen and we don't judge. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're gonna make the zipper pocket on the front curved pocket. So I have waxed canvas here, and I don't know if you ever noticed, but there kind of is like a right and a wrong side. So I'm on the right side. I have my little zipper overlay, and I've already applied my double stick tape. I do 2 rows on each side here. We have our zipper, and we're gonna need a pole. Grab that, I forgot about that. Here we go. If you want to add a tag or something like that, I mean, I could add it under there, but I'm not gonna. I'll just put it in the side seam. And then you're gonna need the actual lining for this zipper pocket. Now, you should have marked your centers on all pieces already. If you didn't, just stop what you're doing and do it now. Pause the video. We're going to take the overlay piece here. Take off your outer tape backings. 6 3/4 inches up from the bottom, you're going to put the overlay, and I'm just going to kind of fold it in half here to get where my center is. So we're going to line that up right there. And just double check it's all 6 3/4 inches. I changed to orange thread for this part, so we got that. But make sure it's stuck down good. Make sure it's kind of the same amount both sides. Let's make sure it's even up here, and it is. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and stitch a top stitch around the entire outer perimeter of this. I'm going to pull thread tails to the back. One thing I want to mention is this vinyl from Tulip Bee is thinner, and so I'm going to be using my smooth foot here. You see? Smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to attach any vinyl pieces for this whole bag. I probably will show you some stitching here and there, but it's going to be a little bit of an abbreviated, trying to get it done quicker. Okay, so I've sewn that on, and I've cut out this backing, which now exposes the tape, okay? So what you're going to do is get your zipper and your pole. You're going to put your pole on, okay? Put it kind of in the middle. And then you're going to get your lining for this zipper pocket. You're basically going to have the lining right side up, and you're going to put the zipper right side up, and you're going to attach it to this short edge and this short edge for the other side of the zipper, okay? You can sew this on if you like to do that. I don't, so I'm just going to tape it on, and then we'll go ahead and put it behind and attach it to that pocket, and I'll show you what I mean. So we'll just put a little tape here. And we're going to put our zipper pull closing to the left. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, before I even worry about all this banana business over here, put some tape on top of this again, here, okay? And what we're going to do is we're just going to center the zipper, like double duty tape. Yeah, we didn't need that. True. I want to keep the lining going up, because first when you install these, It's just like any other one you've probably done if you're more experienced, but you keep the lining going up, and we're just going to sew along this bottom edge here, and we're going to pull our thread tails, but we'll stop and start 1/8 of an inch on each side of the short edge of this box. So I'm just going to stick this down right in the center and then sew that one line, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I've attached it and tied off my threads, pulled down this lining. And now at this point you can go ahead and remove this second tape here. And let's just flip it over and smooth it down really nice. What do you think? It looks centered to me. Alright, so that's attached on the front. And now let's attach it to the back here. So I'm just going to put a line of tape down this other short edge of the zipper pocket lining. And just line up your edges here, okay, and bop this other one right along the top of the zipper. It honestly, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay, because you're gonna sew it down, so don't even worry about it. Boop, right? You just want to make sure that these edges here are lined up. It's not all like cattywampus. Alright, so now we're going to flip it back and keep your pocket folded down like that. And you're going to start in the hole you stopped at and sew all the way around. Okay, I'm done. Is there anything more satisfying than this? Pulling that zipper all the way? Oh, I love it. Okay, so you can see here I went ahead and sewed down these sides, closed it up, and I singed, and I started putting fray check on these or super glue because I have had some unravel before in the past. So whenever I have little threads I tie off like that now, I just like put some glue on them. So there you go in all her glory, and this is the same for the mini or the regular. So that concludes us all the way through step one. Step one is totally done. So now we're going to move on to attach the lining. Okay, so with your exterior curved pocket right side up, we're going to make marks right here on each of these little corners, and it's going to be 1/4 inch down. Okay, you see that? I'm just using a little pressing tool because this is wax canvas, so you don't even need a pen, you can see it, right? And you're going to take these little tiny guys here, these little elastics, and they're going to go in like that, right below the mark you just made, okay? Go ahead and, you know what, before I move on, I need to singe this. Fun fact, I ordered this stuff twice because somebody stole my first package with it in it. Rude. Not feeling jolly when you steal my shit. Okay, I digress. Alright, so put both of these on these little edges here. Now, at this point, you can base these in place if you want. I think actually, what should I do? I think I'm going to use some tape just to make sure it doesn't shift on me. Sorry about that. I should have told you that to begin with. Alright, so now what you'll do is, with your curved exterior right side up, curved pocket exterior, you're going to place your lining. And we're going to be sewing with 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to sew this curve, pivot at the corner at 1/4 inch, and then sew down, okay? And it's going to attach your elastic in there really nice. Make sure when you're coming down to this part right here, you're making sure you're not sewing your elastic side in, right? So make sure that's pulled down and out of the way. If it's kind of close, you can move it down just a scotch. Okay, I went ahead and stitched along the curve and down the little side here. Before I move on, I'm gonna just clip off these sharp corners here. Go ahead and reduce bulk up here because this is gonna go into the zipper right here. So you kind of want to get that bulk down because the thicker it is, this is also why it's recommended not to do a super thick vinyl for this front pocket because it will be folded over, you know, into the zipper seam, and that's just a nightmare. I'm also going to do it down here. I'm just kind of reducing bulk as I go. And then the last thing we're going to do before we turn it out is we're going to make some snips not cutting obviously the stitching, but make some stitches in there, or some cuts in there, relief cuts. If you're a fan of the little triangles, little triangle your heart out. I'm just gonna do this. These materials aren't that thick, so. Now when I did the all vinyl one for the gingerbread bag, yeah, for sure I was doing this. For sure. Also, like, I'm so obsessed with wax canvas. I got this new stuff from my Little Shindig, and it looks like 80s denim. It's so good. Actually, I just bought in a sale the Ivy clutch from Amberly's shop Evergreen Threads because I'm going to make an Ivy clutch out of it. I thought it'd be perfect for my pens and stuff for work. Okay, I got those little clips done, and then we're just going to turn this out. Oh my goodness, that was so easy compared to the last time I did this. Now, the only thing at this point, make sure you're poking out your corners really well, and you're pulling, don't pull too hard, but get that, I had like double stitched right here, like a little back stitch. I'm going to take a poking utensil and just poke out that corner nicely. Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's one thing I love about wax canvas is that it like folds like butter. I don't know how to explain it. If you've worked with the medium before, you get it. It's just like buttery. It just almost melts under your fingertips when you're rolling out seams. Love it. Okay. So there is one completed side turned out. So after you're done rolling out your seams and getting everything situated, you're going to top stitch along this curve, and you'll pivot at the corner and you'll stop right here at the end of your elastic at the bottom here, and you'll be picking up stitching here again. So just make sure you can back stitch if you want, or tie off your threads. I think I might do this yellow to complement my yellow, so I'm going to change my top stitching thread to yellow, but you'll do this for both sides here. Now at this point you can slide in your interfacing in between these two layers if you want it to be a little bit more structured. I'm just going to try it how it is and see how I like it. I did top stitch and I stopped here, and I pulled my thread tails to the back on this part here, and we'll continue sewing here once we make our pocket extenders. So what we're going to do is get your two pocket extender pieces. Now on page 16 there's a little tip if you want to keep this pocket extender out of the seam allowance of the bottom. So you'll end up having a little tiny gap here in between the pocket extender and the base, like tiny. What are you really going to lose from there? I mean, nothing, honestly, let's be honest. Just, I would suggest doing it. Especially if you were cray-cray and decided you wanted to do vinyl on this outside piece. So we're going to go ahead and follow the mods, the bulk reducing mods for that. So get your two pocket extender pieces. Remember, do not use vinyl on these. I can't stress it enough. So the first thing you're going to do if you're doing the bulk reducing mod for this is you're going to take a 1/4 inch off of each one of these, okay? I'm just going to do this here. So you're going to fold right sides together, and you're going to do it hot dog style, right? Not hamburger, hot dog, okay? So what you'll do, right sides together, hot dog style, do a 1/4 inch seam allowance on both of these short edges, and then we'll flip it out, okay? So go ahead and do that. All right, go ahead and trim down a little bit of this bulk right here on both edges. Okay, and then you're going to flip them right side out. And now what you're going to do is you're going to top stitch along this short edge, along the open edge, baste that close. This is going to end up the one in your seam. And then you're going to top stitch here too. So top stitch, baste, top stitch for both of them. Okay, so now that you're done, you're gonna be doing this essentially. If you're doing the domestic hack like I did, it's gonna be 1/2 inch up from this bottom raw edge of your front curve pocket. And what it is the folded edge with no top stitching is what gets placed along here. So line it up real nice, and it starts right underneath the elastic. Okay, so we'll catch it when we start top stitching down here again. If you did not do this hack, then your bottom is raw, your top is stitched, your bottom is not stitched, and this is stitched. So if you're not doing domestic hack like me, you'll only have top stitching up here, basting stitch here, open raw edge down here with basted, and it'll get caught because the seam allowance I think is 3/8 on the bottom. I can't remember exactly, we'll get there, but it'll end up being caught in your seam allowance. This will not. And you're going to make it so your pretty side is facing up, right? Because this will end up getting attached into the seam, and it'll kind of be like that, you see? So do not, I mean, you can backstitch here. I am not going to backstitch here. What I'm going to do is long tails, and I'll end up pulling both threads in to this middle part and tying off on the inside here so that you can't see the raw thread here tied off. And same for down here for me, but if I were you not doing domestic hack, just backstitch down here, it's fine. Your pretty top stitched edge is facing up like this, okay? It'll actually be facing down if you're actually making this Sammy. This is facing down for your pretty top stitch edge. And you're going to repeat the same on this edge. I just wanted to correct something. You are just going to backstitch down here. I just kept going, so you don't have to worry about right here. But right here, I want to show, oh, I don't have my other bag. Well, I don't want the raw edge that'll be tied off and singed touching here. I want it to both go on the inside here. So what I did is I just pulled it apart a little so I could see the actual stitches in here. And what we'll do is we'll pull this stitch in and this stitch. It just is a little bit more of a professional finishing, and then we'll tie that in here and it'll pull it tight. Perfect. Now do the same thing on the other side, girl. The end of step 2, page 18, 2J right now. So you're going to get your main front panel exterior, and then you're going to want your curved pocket, which is done. It's completed now. But what you're going to do is you're going to line up this edge right here. This bottom edge you want lined up, but we're not going to attach this yet. I mean, you can just put a little clip or two just to kind of hold it in place, but we're not attaching that till after we do attach both sides. But you want to know kind of where you need to get your pocket extender at, right? So that if this is attached here, where is the pocket extender going to be attached at? And theoretically, it should be 1/2 inch up if you did the domestic hack that I did. Okay, so go ahead and line that up. Clip the pocket extender and then work with your elastic, and then we'll baste it all down. Then place your elastic right along the edge here as well, and then clip that. And then don't worry about this because this is going to end up bending, see? But go ahead and baste down this edge. Repeat the same for the left side. Okay, now we're going to attach this bottom edge here. And the first thing you're going to do, you could have already basted these two edges and the top edges together if you wanted, but I'm just centering. I'm matching up all these center marks down here. I'm going to start in the middle and clip it, and then go outward. These materials are fortunately not stretchy, but just pay attention if yours are. What the pattern says is you want to make sure this edge right here ends up being 5/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch in. So like that. 5/8 in right here. 5/8. Boop, from that edge, okay? That's where this little pocket edge should line up. Mine is a little, so you just kind of fold this until it gets there. And you're going to clip that. And the rest should fit really well, and it does on this. So you just clip it and repeat for the other side. Now we can baste this long raw edge down. Another thing I want to mention, she suggests starting at the center and going out, and then going from the center and out again to make sure you don't have any shifting. Now you're going to do the same thing with the top here, match your centers. And I'm not going to start from the middle to go outward on this one because it's a much shorter based area, but you definitely could if you wanted. This is giving Russell vibes, right? I could have even added a little handkerchief hang-a-ding and things here. I'm not going to do it, but I could. See how that looks so nice? And it stretches. So my thinking is I'll put the pins all right here, but I have to wait until after I make this bag because I don't want them to rip off. If I decide to birth it, I might just bind the bottom on for the liner. I'm really debating it because birthing this is not the easiest, especially if you do the mini. So I'm probably going to bind it. But if you want to birth it, you totally could. It's in the directions. So what Amber says in the pattern is that if you want, you can just connect this in the seams, which I told you these corner seams here end up being really bulky. But it will be out of the bottom part of the seam, so you can just measure up a 1/2 of an inch and make sure the foam gets clipped here. Why not? We're going to try it. Why not? Let's try it. Alternatively, you could use some like glue, spray glue based, and baste the, just keep it, you know, 1/2 inch out of all the seams for the, what do you call this stuff? Foam? Baste the foam on one side, and then we're going to pull the foam over and baste it over here. And you are going to end up having a gap, but the gap will go away once the bag is actually like this. So don't worry about the gap, but that's what we're going to do. Now, before we go on to step 4 and create the flap, I am going to install my little hidden D-ring connector here. I have this really cool tool from JoLeeLee Creations, and it does a 1 inch, a 3/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch, okay? So I kind of don't really have an exact place for this. I kind of just think like, oh, about right here would be good, you know? So that's where I'll go ahead and install this, and I'll show you how I do all that. I will be putting just a small piece of fusible interfacing here. So first thing we're going to do is take this little 1x3 piece of vinyl. Just kind of move that out of the way. And I'm going to fold in the long raw edges into meet around the deck of the light here, and then top stitch down the long edge. This is going to be my little strap part for the D-ring. Okay, we find about where we want to go. And we'll just peel this backing. Okay. I'm going to put it just on the raw vinyl. About where I want it, probably, let's see, probably about right there. Just going to put it down. It's almost like a fleece a little bit. It's not too thick, but enough to give it some stability, right? You can also iron it as well. Okay, so flip this back over. I'm gonna put a cutting mat in between my foam. This would have been easier without the foam in the way, so live and learn. I'm gonna use a silver marking pen so I can wipe it away, but we're gonna take the little 1/2 inch edge here, kind of see where the D-ring's gonna go, and I am gonna get another ruler here. Make sure it's even along this edge. I don't want it to be a little cattywampus where I'm gonna cut the hole. So you're just gonna draw on the front of your vinyl the actual bump, not anything else. You just need the bump. And then I got my cutting mat in here, so you're just gonna cut very, very carefully, okay? Just kind of push it up. I'm going to use my little scissors here to get these little tiny, I mean, this is a tiny hidden D-ring, so don't be hanging a Slurpee off of it, but it's kind of cute. It's cute for the utility of a Russell bag as well, right? And what you're going to do is slide this strap in with the raw edged middle facing up. So just slide it in. It should be kind of a tight fit, right? Perfect. Enough to fold down here and enough to fold in here like that, okay? You can be more precise if you want. JoLeeLee Creations on her YouTube. I'll link it below. She has a great video on how to use this tool if you need a more in-depth approach. But I'm going to flip this over, and all I'm going to do, holding this as straight as possible, is I'm going to stitch right here along the strap width. No wider than the strap width, okay? Attached. Get your D-ring, slide it on, and then you're going to put it through that hole again. This other little tiny edge goes right back in there again. It should slide right in. I mean, it's a tight fit, right? Pull it to where when the straps are folded down. So this little nub that we had, it needs to be folded inside of the bag, or inside of the hole. So don't let that pop out on you, because this is actually what we're going to attach the straps to. Okay. Do you see? Yeah. Sorry, the glitter's really bad in here, so I can't see the best. So now with this not too tight on the tension here, you know, you want to have enough where it's okay. All right. Now we're going to stitch just right here on this little nubby nut. Okay, and we are going to put a rivet as well, because this will take a little bit of weight. Again, we're not hanging Slurpees, but line up your strap here. And then you probably want to use a zipper foot to get close, but you only are stitching the width of the strap right here, like right along where this bumps to this. Okay, now what you can do, I'm just going to trim this just a scotch. It's pretty long, and my vinyl's kind of see-through a little bit, so I want enough to be able to get a rivet in it, but not too long where I'm seeing everything here. Okay, I'm going to put the rivet, I'm going to mark where I'm going to put the rivet, is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go through the foam as well. And there you have it. It's installed, and I just folded it down so that so when the bag's made, it'll just kind of be on the side. Just a little something. Why not, right? All right, let's move on to the flap. And like I said, see how you're going to have like that extra gap here? That's okay, because once the bag curves, it fits perfect. See? Boop. To prepare the flap, we're going to need the flap exterior and interior. The zipper, what do they call these? Zipper extenders, exterior and interior. Your main zipper, which is the big one, and 2 of your pulls. We will be inserting the foam once we're almost done with the flap, so don't worry about it right now. And you're going to install a zipper pull on each end of your main zipper. Now get your zipper extenders, and I'm going to add tape to all 4 of the short edges. Okay, so take your backing off of one of the exterior short edges. You're going to line it up right side down to the tape. Okay? And then take the lining and do the same thing, but right side down on the back of the zipper. And then what you're going to do is do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now repeat the same thing on the other short end of the zipper. Right side down on the lining to the back side of the zipper. And make sure your zipper isn't twisted. But this exterior has to come all the way around and be right side down on the top of the zipper tape. Just like that. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now what I'm going to do to reduce bulk is peel back this lining and exterior from the zipper tape, and then just trim off the corners. I'm gonna avoid trimming the zipper tape because I don't want it to rip out of this seam and fray, because I've cut it. And my edges are burned, so they're not like too crazy, but I just want to cut these little tiny these out, and we are now gonna stitch all 4 edges. Top stitch these 2 shorts and base these 2 longs. Okay, so here it is done. I just started and stopped on a side piece so I could backstitch real good. But there you go. See, it is a little bit softer of a faux leather, but it looks good. Now find the centers on the both sides of the zipper extender. And this is important to do. Don't skip this step, please. And you're going to want to do the same on your zipper tape. I'm not going to clip, I'm just going to mark with a pen on both sides of the tape. Where the center is. Now you have your flap exteriors, what you want right now. And what you're going to do, I've already have the centers marked here. I just used my cutting mat to mark my centers. But this is going to go vinyl to vinyl, right sides together, right? And you're going to line up the center markings. And if you want, you could do tape. We're gonna leave an opening here to turn through, so I'm just gonna clip on this part, but I probably will put tape around where I'm actually gonna stitch it on. So you baste it on, and then you put the, lining right side down, and then you do the actual seam allowance, which is 3/8 of an inch. I'm really gonna try to do 3/8 of an inch. I might cry if I don't get it, but I'll just try again. Well, our zipper's wavy. I just don't know what to do. Oh well. What can you do? You win some, you lose some. Yeah, right there fucking sucks. I definitely am doing something wrong here, I think. So I'll have to keep researching and see if I can find the answer. Yeah, this one's wavy like that one I had. I hate it. Ugh. Oh well. So I'm going to redo it. I'm going to cut my lining an 1/8 of an inch bigger around everything, because I did that on the mini and it helped. And I didn't do it on this one because I thought it's bigger and it won't need it, but I think it does. And I think I'm going to trim off 1/4 inch from the zipper. It's almost like there's too much zipper tape, which was true, because when I was trying to line it up, it was a little bit. Which sucks because the stitching is, the seam is nice. It's the freaking zipper tape. Alright, so, we're learning together. Let's go ahead and change this. Okay, take 2 on the flap. I have my vinyl again, but this time I put woven on it just to give it a little more structure so it doesn't stretch. And then I have my lining. I made my lining like 1/8 of an inch larger all the way around to 1/4. I'm not the best, but it's approximate. Then I still have the same foam, but this time I took like 1/4 inch off of the interfacing piece, and I just adhered the Decovil heavy straight to the foam. And then I'll make sure this part touches the lining. So I think that'll work. And I made my zipper, instead of 25.5, I did 25 1/8. I'm going to try it. I'm also decided I'm not going to machine based on my zipper tape to my exterior. I'm only taping it. So this might be a disaster, and I just try again next week when I get home. I don't know. I want to take it to Disneyland, but I'm also not gonna make junk, so. And for the record, the designer makes these great. She's got it down. I don't know, I just have struggles. I made the same machine. I'm just not good at flaps, I guess. Which is fine, you know. I have my zipper extenders here. And I went ahead and interfaced this too because I'm like, maybe that's stretching because it's kind of stretchy. Maybe it's stretching and causing me a little tiff. So I'll be back. I'm going to try this and we'll see how it goes. And I'll keep trying it till I get it right. Captain's log. Day 2943. I'm still working on the flap. But I think it looks good. It doesn't look squiggly wiggly when I pop it up like this. Too bad. I just taped and I actually snipped into my zipper. I do think this zipper fits more snug, less looseness, which will help in the long run, I think. So I'm going to draw my seam allowance. I'm also going to sew this at 3/8 inch seam allowance. Just on this part for the attaching the zipper to here, because I don't sew it right here when I have the liner on there, and then it's like I have to fold it weird and do stuff over here. So I'm just gonna do that. All right, so I'll do 3/8 inch just on the zipper extender. I'm not basting the zipper on here, and so I'm gonna draw my seam allowance on this, and then just sew the final stitch, and I'm gonna just clamp and move, clamp and move. I'm trying not to use my screwdriver. So, we'll see how it goes. Alright. I think we fucking cracked the code, my dudes. Look how wrinkly it is. This is why I said no interfacing. My dudes, we did it. Okay, so here is the flap with the mods I have. Okay. I still haven't gotten out the wrinkles yet. But you can see it is super flat. And that's what you want so it doesn't bulge out and bump on like the first one I did. And this is with a 3/8 seam allowance. It's a little bit less. So I literally did like a little, I did in between 1/4 and 3/8. But what I did was woven interfacing on my vinyl because it was a little stretchy. Okay. I did make the liner 1/8 of an inch bigger all the way around. When I attached the liner to the zipper slash exterior piece, I sewed from the wrong side of the exterior because this was the good place to do my 3/8 inch seam allowance from, not this because it wasn't like perfect. That being said, also I went ahead when I was taping on the zipper to the exterior, I did not sew it on. I just taped around the corners, the straight edge I didn't, and I cut little tiny relief snips into the actual zipper itself. The zipper length I changed to 25 1/8 inch instead of 25 1/2, and that helped. I really think so, because it was too much. I think I had stretching and I had too much zipper tape. And then you see how this is kind of like that. When I was taping on the zipper to the exterior, I went ahead and sewed the actual 3/8 inch seam allowance right here and attached the zipper extender to the exterior flap. So that helped. I think that looks so good. And then for my interfacing, I have the foam, but I put Decaville Light adhered to the foam. So on touching the liner is Decaville Heavy, not Decaville Light, Decaville Heavy. So Decaville Heavy is adhered to the foam that I slid in, but the heavy is touching the liner, the foam is touching the exterior. So I like that structure. I mean, look at that. It's not gonna, you can see it's not gonna bow. So that's nice. I didn't want to sew with the liner up. I sewed with the exterior up. When I started sewing, I started over here on the straight edge. Okay, kept all that clipped. Straight edge, and I just slowly went around. Okay, when I got here, what I did was I kind of like pulled this up and kind of rotated it through, like I would do when I normally sew gussets. You know how I'm like, I'm not in the majority. The majority sew with, you know, the main panel down and the gusset pulled back and around, right? I don't do that. I like to put my gusset touching the table and I roll it around like that. For me, it works better. So that's kind of what I did on these corners, and I hand cranked it as I went. And then I came to here and I backstitched. I backstitched a little further than the line. You can't see now, obviously, but there was like a line for where I attached the exterior to the zipper extender. So I went past that, right? And then what I also did was I trimmed down all of my seams. Since I didn't sew based the exterior to the zipper like I did here, right? I cut the liner and the exterior like 1/8 of an inch on both sides. So it literally had no issue like laying flat and looking nice. So I think that I literally cracked the flap code. So thank you, Amber Lee, for making me a flap pro, because let me tell you, it was my Achilles heel. This is literally the 5th one I've ever made, and I finally got it. So it takes practice, and that's what she told me. You just got to practice it, because hers are perfect. It's not the pattern, it was me. The next step we're going to be on is 5. We just finished 4. So the next is 5, and we'll be working on the back panel of the bag. Okay, so now we're going to build the back panel. For that, you're going to need your zipper with the pole, your strap connectors. I'm going to add a little woven label in the seam like this. Although, you know what? We're not going to do that, because I will tell you, you're now talking to a post-Disneyland Amber. and I used the mini size at Disneyland. I will say having the label in the seam on my last one, it kind of rubbed it a lot, and I didn't like how that was starting to wear down, so I'm not going to do that. Also, I will tell you, and I don't know why, but my strap connectors on my mini I did woven, and the stitching, because it was rubbing on my sweater all day, started to come undone. Like the stitching was fraying, and I used Tex 90 on that. So I don't know. I would probably definitely do seatbelt webbing if you can. Anyways, we're going to need our two D-ring connectors here. The strap connector pieces, the back panel zipper pocket, and then your liner and exterior back panels. And then I also have my straps here. You're also going to need, actually, where did it go? Probably my cat, the handle. So we're going to be starting on step 5. I was going to put a really cute patch right here, but after using my bag, it really would be a disservice to the bag because it'd be rubbing. And so I'm not going to do that. I'll probably just add it to a wallet that'll match this set. And also because I did not get this done in time for my trip, I'm just going to sell it. So I do think this size will be perfect for everyday stuff. The mini was great for the parks. I do wish I had the medium though. Definitely wish I had the medium. The mini was nice too though. But that was just me. I just want to like tell you how it went. And here is my handle. So let's go ahead and set all this stuff aside here. We're going to start with our, actually we don't need this. I'm not sure why I grabbed that. Put that aside. That'll be for building the lining. The lining is so easy to build. It's really fast. Okay, taking our back panel zipper pocket, just one of them. You're going to put it right side down. I'm going to draw a line that is half an inch over from the long edge and 1 inch down from the short edge. So just go ahead and do that, and it's going to be a 1/2 inch box. 3/4 of an inch in. Oops, sorry about that. Good thing it doesn't really matter. I'm currently on cold medicine, so we can just use this for our little. Grab your back panel and 1 inch up from the bottom. Okay. And 5/8 from the left edge. We're going to put this little guy. Okay. Looks good to me. Now we have to clip it in place. You're going to stitch along this box here. I'm not going to make it a continuous stitch. Something I tried recently that worked really well. I'm going to stitch both of these long lines here, and then I'm going to do separate stitching just here, not in the corners, just like 2 stitches along these little short edges here. Watch how nice it ends up looking. I don't know why it works so good, but it does. So I will meet you back here once I stitch all that down. Alright, we went ahead and stitched, and now we're just going to cut. I'm going to come right into that corner, but not cutting my stitches. Now we can pull the lining to the back side. I'm going to put just a little bit of double stick tape down here, just folding with my finger pressing. Watch be nice and crispy. Are you ready for the grand reveal? Hopefully it's not crooked. And ta-da! Look how nice that looks. Can you see it? Oh yeah, you can. I like it. It's been working for me, so we're just gonna keep doing it. It makes no puckers. I cannot remember who I learned that from, but I did not make this up. But it works great. You're gonna get your zipper. I saw this thing the other day on Facebook. I think it was Sammy Valencia from Callie and Bella. I think that's the name of it. So they're coming out with a really cute lunchbox pattern. And they had 3D printed this really cool zipper center thing, and my gosh, do I want it. Because that's honestly, you know, why not? Why not? So we're going to put this under but centered. Boop boop, like that. And to achieve such, we're going to add tape. Why not, right? All right, we're gonna stitch around this entire box and attach the zipper. Okay, do a top stitch, pull your threads to the back. Oh dang, look how good I lined it up. Didn't even mean to do that. Now, one thing I will say. Okay, on the mini, that little back slip pocket, my goodness, was that nice for my phone. Wow. Wow, because it was right on my back, you know? I mean, you can put your phone in here, but on another iteration of this, I think I'll do both. I think I'll do this and a slip pocket because I'm that extra. Because I loved sliding my phone into that, and it's a little deeper, so, you know, I'm not even worried about it falling out. It would be nice, just saying, for functionality since I use this bag for a whole day. Okay, we have attached our zipper. I also singed the threads. You know, I tied them off, singed them, and I put super glue on them. I've been doing that lately, super glue. I have like a brush super glue. It's really nice. So, our zipper is done. It went a little bit off the center over here, but whatever. Okay. I'm going to take our other liner, and we're just going to line them up here. And we're going to sew. I'm just going to sew 3 of the edges, and then I'm going to baste this here and trim off the excess. Now, actually, you know what I think I'm going to do? Because this area is kind of the danger zone for thickness in this bag. I think I'm actually going to trim this shorter so it doesn't even go in the seam allowance. Although it would give structure if I basted it. For when you have something in here, it wouldn't sag. Although all it would do is sag to the bottom. What to do, what to do. Alright, we'll just baste it in the seams. Because, well, because the strap connectors go like right here. Right? This isn't too thick, but it's 2 layers. I think I'll just trim them down. I'll just trim that out of the seam allowance here. Maybe about there. Well, let's see. How big is the phone here? There's a zipper. Alright, we'll do it about right here. Just because with the connectors and stuff, nah, I'd rather not. Alright, cool. Now we'll just go ahead and baste all 4, not baste, you're going to sew all 4 edges of this pocket together. You know, and fold your exterior out of the way. If you're following the directions, you're just going to baste this all the way into this seam. But I'm going to reduce the bulk a little there. Our pocket is now complete. Perfect. It's a nice soft pocket. We're going to add the handle, so grab your handle. 2 3/8 from each edge of this handle. We're going to make a little mark. We're going to pinch this together hot dog style. And we'll be sewing this together. It's like a faux roll handle, and I'm going to pull the thread tails into the middle, tie them off, and super glue them down. Okay, given my super glue, moment to dry. Get your back panel again, and we're gonna place these with the, I mean, you can honestly do it whatever way you want, but like if you do it with the seam up, then it's gonna be like, hey girl, when you're looking at the front and the back, right? So I'm not gonna do that personally. But what you're gonna wanna do is 3/4 of an inch is how far apart you want the handle. So we're just gonna, I'm putting mine seam down, so you do you, but we're a seam down kind of household here. 3/8 of an inch from the center marking is where you'll put each end of your handle. The other thing we're gonna do is the straps, and I'm just gonna do it all at once because I'm being efficient for once. And she has you placing the straps right alongside the handle, like this. Alright, we're going to baste all of this down, and I'm going to roll up my handles here. So we're just going to baste right in the seam at 1/8 of inch seam allowance across the handle and the straps. Okay, we're going to take these and baste these edges together here. To build the strap connector, the pattern has you fold this right sides together and then, you know, slide this in and stitch your 1/4 inch. Down this 1 inch, and then we're gonna like flip it out. But I'm just gonna kind of cut out a step here because I don't know about you, but I personally can never get this connector because of the hardware to lay flat up against here. I just can never get it right. So what we're going to do, since it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're going to mark a 1/2 of an inch down this long edge here of this connector. And I'm going to put some double stick tape right on the inside of that line. I'm using wax canvas, so it's a little hard to be using double stick tape with. I'm going to fold up this long edge. Now, if you wanted to reduce bulk, you could do a little triangle out of right where the center is, where the fold is for the center. But, and this is all on the wrong side. I'm folding this edge up to the wrong side. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and line it up here and then just fold it over. And then I'm going to do my double row of stitching, top stitching. So I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch, and then I'll do 1/4 of an inch. And you'll need to be mindful because you can see here I have one done. One of these is going to have the top stitching up, and so you'll want this one to be mirrored, right? Because we're going to end up cutting off 1/2 of this. So I'm going to top stitch on this side on this one because it will be like that to match it. Like that kind of, see? Now that I have it top stitched, we need to cut off and make this a triangle. So I'm just going to make sure my line's straight, mark corner to corner. And then I'll be able to. And then on your back panel, you're going to place these in the seams 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And then you'll just baste these on, which should close up this little pocket of a connector here. At this point is where you're going to want to attach your foam with whatever way you wanted to do it, whether it was your foam in your seam allowance or out of your seam allowance. I don't honestly remember what I did here. Mine's out of my seam allowance, so I'm going to go spray, get the glue and spray it on here and just boop boop it down. Okay, so I just cut a hole here, rough cut. I want it to be out of the seams on the bottom, so made sure it was tall enough. And then I just kind of put this through there, right? So that it won't affect the, now I'll just like lift up and spray and put everything down. Okay, so that worked well in my brain. what glue did I use? It's called, this stuff works really good, but you got to do it outside because it smells so bad. But yeah, we just glued everything down. Boop. Okay, so the instructions on step 8C, after you've already attached your interfacing, you're gonna make box corners. So we're gonna do it 3/8 by 3/8 box. She says to repeat for the lining. I'm not gonna do it on the lining because I'm actually gonna bind my bottom. I think it might be a little easier. I like the look of a birthed, but I'm gonna bind it and see if I like it better. So go ahead and cut out these little triangles. You're gonna repeat the same thing on the back panel, these little bottom corners here. And you're gonna repeat it once more on the front panel here, 3/8 and 3/8. Alright, set your front panel aside for a sec. Take your back panel and your base, and you're going to put these together, right sides together, and your box corner should line up perfectly. You're going to use a 3/8 seam allowance on this bottom edge here, and you're going to sew from corner to corner on these little box corners you made. Okay, go ahead and fold that down. Take your front panel, we're going to work with the left side first. And what you're going to do is line up this edge here with this edge here that was cut out of the back. Okay? So line up that and clip. And your front panel is going to be taller than your back panel, but it's for a reason, because once we sew the seam allowance, it'll line up perfectly on this edge here. So you see, once we actually do the seam allowance, it'll end up landing right here where these two meet in this little valley. So trust the process. Okay, this is a 1/2 inch seam allowance on this side, so you need to make sure when you're sewing all this stuff, let me pull my zipper up, all this stuff gets pulled out of the seams. You don't want to sew over this little pocket here, so you got to pull it as you're going. Now it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you've made a 3/8 inch cut, so you're going to be a little bit toward the inside of this box. Pull your pocket out of the way. Okay. And that's okay. Just don't go past this line here because you will stitch on your base. So be careful. I'm going to do an additional stitching right along this in the seam allowance to ensure my stitches don't pull. I'm going to do that for the base really quick as well. You can see here how this is like the thick area right here, you know, with all this stuff. So it's turning out really nice though. Okay. Repeat this with the other side now. Okay, now you have all of that done, and we are going to just pop in. So you should have your center marking on your base. Match it up with the center marking on your front. And we're just going to clip this around. It should fit really nicely because of these corners here. Look at that. Nice. So we're just going to clip this around. I'm going to cut a couple little relief snips in this curve here. Just little. The seam allowance is 3/8 inch, so maybe like 1/8. Just enough so it sits in there nicely. Okay, so you can see here I have everything clipped on, and we're going to sew this edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. First I'm going to baste with a 1/8 inch, and then I'll go through with my 3/8, and then I'm going to put even another stitch right next to my 3/8 inch seam allowance inside the seam allowance just for structure, just like we did on all the other seams here. So I will meet you back once we're done. Do you see right here? Now you should have the Y seam. Do you see why it's called a Y? All of our stitches should have went right to this point. Do you see? They all meet up right here at this middle dot. So that's your goal. Try to make sure there's not a hole there, okay? Now we're going to trim down all of our seam allowances around the bottom and both sides. I wouldn't trim off your elastic connector here. Go ahead and skip that, cut around it, but the rest of this we can trim down. Also, when we're trimming down, avoid this like top 1 inch because we're about to flip it right side out and attach the zipper. And so you want this to be able to lay flat as you do that. You can see this goes over a little bit. You can trim that down to make attaching your zipper a little easier. Just that extra little corner piece. So it keeps the curve going here. I think what I'm going to do is, before I seal up the bag, because this is kind of a bigger bottom, and because it's like a bigger bag, I know I'm going to load the crap out of it, or whoever will, because it's a backpack. And so I am going to slide a piece of cardboard into the bottom before I seal up my lining, because I did foam on this bottom with woven over it, but I don't want a soggy bottom, so I'm just going to add a piece of cardboard that'll be just lay right in here once the bag's closed. We're going to flip it though. To attach the zipper, you do have to flip it. It's not in the directions, but you do need to do it. So I'm going to push my corners through first. I'm trying to be careful not to roll too much. Since I didn't go super crazy on interfacing, it should be pretty simple to turn. Let's see. Yeah, that's nice. This is nice vinyl too, so perfect. Now I'm going to show you how this foam ends up laying nice and flat once we turn it all the way out. Remember, because the foam is kind of... See now how the foam lays nice in there? Nice, huh? Here is the bag turned. Oh, I love it. Yeah, so I am definitely going to throw some cardboard down in here once we're done. Like right before I push the lining back in, because we're going to bind the lining to the bottom. I just think it'll be faster. Oh, look how nice that corner is. That's a nice corner, guys. So that's what your Y seam should look like. See? Perfect. And I caught the expander is not in the seam allowance. It's barely floating above it. You see? It's barely floating above it, but it's not in it. So that's kind of what you want for the bulk. Flap with the zipper extender. This is the piece you want. Okay, go ahead and unzip your zipper. I know. Okay, so this is going to go on the outside, right? Just like this. Outside to outside. Match up your center mark on your zipper extender piece here. Just match it. And we're just going to be basting this on. I'm hesitant to machine baste this though. I think I'm just going to sew the actual seam allowance on this zipper extender piece just like we did for the lid. I'll do the actual seam allowance there. And then I think for the rest of this I might just do what I did before and just do like little bits of tape to hold it down. Like maybe I'll sew just where this, I'm going to open my seam here. Like maybe I'll sew just where this side piece connects here. I think I might do that. Because we're going to be putting this will end up being right side out, or wrong sides out. We're going to flip it again. and put the liner on the inside, and that's how we attach the zipper for final construction. But I think I'm gonna do it just slightly differently because I want to be able to top stitch with my exterior facing like on top, so I can actually, so my top thread will be my top stitch, if that makes sense, because I couldn't see my top stitching when I did my mini, and I wish I could have done a little bit better of a job. So that's what we're gonna do. This is just slightly different from the instructions, but it'll be great. I'm gonna pull down this foam, it's a little too high in here. Here we go. And we're lining up the center from the zipper tape to the front. Just everything else, see how it just fits so nice? I think what I'll do is I'll baste just on this front and this back. The rest of this is just going to get a little tape. Just a little, so we can pull it apart and cut down the seam allowance again. I like doing that. I think that turned out great on the flap. Just kind of easing the zipper tape around. I will be replacing these clips with a little bit of tape. Oh, I love this little D-ring thing here. If nothing else, it looks cool. Alright. Let's go ahead and sew this part only 3/8 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to do an 1/8 right here on this front pocket. And then I'll just go through and add tape along here. Okay, so I basted down the zipper across the front pocket, and we did and this is 1/8 of an inch. We did the actual seam allowance back here. Okay. And I just basted right here where this seam is. I'm gonna it's okay if it's not perfect. Just trim the rest of it off to make it kind of even, you know. It'll make it easier when you're attaching on your lining. So just like that. Just gonna trim it down, but at least it's butterflied open. It'll be nice for us to use here. Okay, so we're done with the zipper. I did add little tape bits here, not a lot, but just a couple, 2 pieces on each side just to kind of hold it down. It does look a little like there's excess, and there is, but it's because the bag isn't like fully pulled out and extended yet, so we'll get there. You can go ahead at this point and turn this bag inside out again. And then we're going to build the lining, which is so easy. And we're about to move on to the stretchy pockets. It's my favorite part. Now we're on to building the lining. For that, we're going to first start with our stretchy pocket here and our elastic that goes with it. We are on this folded edge. It's folded wrong sides together. Along this folded edge, we're going to sew. Sorry, let me just straighten it up. We're going to sew a 1-inch seam allowance. So I'm going to start down here, do the 1 inch all the way, and then I'll just baste these bottom 3 edges together. And I'll meet you back here and we'll put the elastic in together. Hey, our pocket is done. And hopefully you did not stitch over this top stitching here, because we gotta put the stuff in there. I'm gonna use this thing I got off Amazon. Do not know what it's called, but you basically just thread your, first, let's singe the edges of this. I had one unravel on me once, so I'm a little paranoid. Alright, just gonna like fold it in half here and kind of thread it through this loop. You can use a safety pin too. Safety pin works just dandy, but this is pretty neato too. So you're gonna thread it through. This is a pretty big pocket. Like, it's like long, you know. So a safety pin might be a scotch hard to get through. Oop. And then Now we want the elastic to lay flat, so yeah, of course, there we go. Only pull your elastic till it's close to coming out the end here. Do you see this end? Just till it's getting about right there. Now, take this and stitch it down before you finish pulling. Just gonna baste it on. Okay. Now, here's where the magic happens. Alright, so that's like pulled straight. It's like about right here. Now, you just keep pulling this through. Here. And now, I'll link that little tool on my Amazon shop if you're interested. Oh, look at how she's scrunching. Now, if you want it super scrunchy, do it more. Pull it through more, you know. It's really up to you how scrunchy you want it. I just want a little scrunch. That's good like that. And now I'm going to baste it down on this end. Okay, perfect. Look at that. Scrunchy pocket. That's how fucking easy it is. I want these on everything. I'm not going to trim this down either. Oh, it's so scrunchy and delicious. Okay. So that was step 10B. Okay, if you're following me along here. And this is my front because I have the middle mark on the front. Just for top stitching purposes. Okay, let's get on to the next one. Now you're going to get your, like, front, you know what I mean? Like, the part that looks like the front with the little whoop-de-whooper in there. Go ahead and turn this. We're going to make a mark real quick because this is where we're going to stitch the dividers for the pockets. I will say, these stretchy pockets, when I use the mini at the parks, amazing. Amazing. I'm like, can I add these into every bag? These and the freaking cargo pockets, the pockets, fave. With your ruler, you are going to draw two lines. One is 6.5 inches in, okay, and it's 7.5 inches tall. The line will be 7.5 by 6.5. So 6.5 in, 7.5 tall from each edge. Now, this part, you gotta finagle it a bit, right? Because of that stretchiness. That's why you wanted your centers marked. First, we're gonna clip the center to the center. And just like that. You know what? We're gonna pull out the big guns for this because it's stretchy. And I really need it to clip well. There. Match up these corners. There. Now I decided I am going to put my woven label in the seam on one of these, on the inside, because then I don't think it'll get as much wear and tear. When I put it on that outside back seam on my mini bag, kind of wore it down a little. Not like shredded or anything or faded. It just, I could tell it'd been like rubbed on a lot. Which makes sense for my backpack. I mean, I walked 20,000 steps that day at Disneyland, so I get it. So I'm just like giving real world application to bags now that I've been making them. I actually realized I've made over 160 patterns, not including multiples of each pattern. So, and I do have some bags I send out to people to test and see how well they wear and what to change, but in my years of doing this, this is definitely something I never thought about. So minimal stuff on the part of the bag that lays on your body. It seems common sense, but me being extra, I constantly am adding shit. So there's a little chicky nuggy wisdom for you. Okay, we're gonna baste this on all four edges. Okay, our stretchy pocket is stretchy and done. Almost. Flip it over. You are gonna slowly stretch. Okay, you want this to be like evenly spaced if you could. Just kind of stretch it out a little here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just, you want it kind of flat, and you want a little bit over here, right? Otherwise you're gonna have too much over there. And then we're gonna stitch. Now, what I'm gonna tell you is this. Do not go past your stretchy pocket here. Can you see right here? My line is a little bit taller, but I can feel where my pocket starts and stops. So I'm gonna just stay on the pocket, because if you stitch above the pocket, lights out, you know? You're gonna see it on the other side. Nobody cares, but we do. There's that. Repeat with your other line. Okay, so here are our pockets. Yay! It's so easy. Got a little extra over here, but it's fine. You won't, like, once it's like round, it'll be round like this, right? You see? Perfect. Love it. Now we're gonna move on to our slip pocket. I just want to mention, if you're going to be following the pattern for attaching everything, you want to do your little 3/8 of an inch cutouts on both of these corners. I'm not going to do it that way this time, because I don't mind binding. If you hate binding and you want to birth it, cut your 3/8 inch box out of both these little corners. For the slip pocket part, you're going to need your back panel liner, and you're going to need your folded slip pocket. I also have the center marked. If you're going to install the magnetic snaps, you can go ahead and follow the directions on step 10J. I'm not going to do it because I found that the magnetic snap, at least in the mini, it was just too small of a pocket to put things in with it to snap. So then it was just touching my things. Like, I had my Kindle in there, and so I didn't want it to like hit on my Kindle. So I'm just going to make this a slip pocket, because honestly, I don't really think it needs a snap from my use of it, but I'm going to go ahead and just stitch my, I'm going to top stitch my folded edge of my pocket, and then we're going to baste it onto the back panel. I'm also going to tape on my little woven label here up out of the seams. I just want to make a note here. If you are somebody that has a Juki 1181N, the stitch length of size 6 is perfect for basting. It doesn't seem to bunch up the Theretex too bad, so I just wanted to share that because I've tried many different ones and that's what works. Okay, my slip pocket is attached. If you're birthing your bag, go ahead and take out your 3/8 inch boxes on these two corners as well as your lining bottom ones. Take out your box corners 3/8 of an inch on here too, okay, if you're doing that. Okay, I'm not attaching this piece at all. I'm going to bind this piece on at the end. It sounds crazy, but it's just what I want to do. I want to see if it'll be easier for me. I just don't like birthing bags, if I'm being honest with you. We're going to take these and match it up. This is kind of thick. How many layers is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6 layers of Theretex. You can go ahead and leave a big opening on the side. If your materials are a little thicker for your outside and it'll be a little harder to birth, go ahead and leave a big old gap on the side here, not sewing down, and then you can just totally attach the bottom and birth through the side. I'm not going to do that. I did it on my last one. It's fine looking, but I'm not binding, or I'm not birthing this time. So we're just lining up this side seam. Oh my gosh, I just won the lottery. My clip just went into my coffee. Oh man, sad. There we go. So that'll be another tip if you're like on a domestic. Don't interface your lining like down on the last 1/2 inch of the sides or like this bottom stuff. Don't interface any of it if you want to make it a little easier. I mean, not necessary, but you know what I'm saying? These aren't as thick. We'll just do little clips here. Again, you're going to have that little overhang, and that's fine because your 1/2 inch seam allowance will catch it. I'm just going to attach one side and then repeat for the other. I'm coming right down right now to my stretchy pocket, and so I'm just reaching my hand in and stretching that out all the way so I don't have any bunching in my seam here. And I'm also going to just give it a little back stitch right there before I come on down. I just wanted to give that little warning to stretch out your elastic pocket part right there when you're coming down to it, because it will affect it. Alright, now we can just repeat for the other side. Done. I'm going to trim down my seam, except for where the elastic is. I'm going to leave that alone. But this is a pretty thick seam to keep in your seam allowance, in my opinion. I'm going to leave a little bit at the top here for flipping it open with the zipper to butterfly my seams. There's our inside. It's so pretty. I love this color. I forgot what color it is. It's like caramel or toffee. Toffee. It's toffee. That's what it is. So good. All right. Go ahead and grab your main bag that should already be turned inside out. If you were attaching the bottom, you do that now. And you're going to leave like a spot on the flat edge here if you want to burr through the bottom, like this much. So you can burr through that. Or if you had left your hole here, you're going to totally attach this bottom. Alright, now you're going to want to turn your lining pretty side out, because it's going to be a seamie. Oh my god, I love this color so much. And then see, here's our little tag. It turned out pretty good here. See? Right in the seam. Nice and even. Perfect. Now, we're going to match up our centers. You should have had your centers marked, right? Hopefully you did. Hopefully you weren't bad. I'm going to flip you up so you can see me real quick. Okay, so place your lining in there. I love doing this. Beep, 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 beep. All right. I'll pull down this a little bit. Match your centers. This sewing step is going to be crucial because it will affect the shape of your bag. Okay, so really make sure everything's tight like a tiger, okay? Center to center. Butterfly open this little seam. It should match up pretty darn good. Just gonna clip right here because right here is the problem part for me. I always struggle best there. All right, there's that. I'm gonna clip it. Ugh, see this little, I'm gonna cut down just a scotch on this little, it's not totally flat and I want it to follow the seam good. So there we go. And perfect, just like that. I'm going to use the metal clip for that because it's going to have a lot of pulling and pressure there when I'm sewing it. So we got our lining clipped on. Now we're going to sew this with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So I would recommend a zipper foot, okay? Now I'm just gonna fold my lining out over my exterior because I want to top stitch with my exterior being, that's the word I'm looking for, on the inside of the bag, so that my top stitch thread will be the main thread and not the bob, because I don't want the bobbing. Let's see any ripples. This seam right here can get pretty thick with the front pocket into there. That's why really you shouldn't interface it on that top, probably ½ inch if you can avoid it, maybe more. I used wax canvas this time and I love it. Turning into a wax canvas girly. I am going to use my pliers right here, just where this thicker seam is. It's not really thick, but I really want it to lay flat. So I'm going to do that for where this front pocket goes to. Just, it does make a difference. Okay, so my smooth fit is on so that I don't bite into this vinyl too much. I'm going to make my stitch length like 5.5 because the smooth foot doesn't pull it through as well as my regular grippy foot does. But I also don't want to bite into this vinyl too bad, so. My trick for soft vinyls as well is a piece of waterproof canvas, and I just folded it over. This thing is literally like 6 years old. And I just lay this under the foot where it would grip. Maybe I should put my grippy foot on. The grippy foot is really the best one. Yeah, and then I'll just use this going around. Okay, so this is all pulled out nice and well. So we'll start right underneath this little, and this should be protected by my, this lid, this zipper extender should be protected by my webbing, so I'm not even worried about that side. The rest of the way the foot will be on the, okay, so I just slide it like right underneath my, where the grippy part of my foot is. And it'll still grip because of the waterproof canvas, but it will just make it better to, alright, I'm gonna stop talking, let's go. It's kind of thick here, so. Okay, so I've tied off my threads and put super glue on them, singed them and then super glued them. And now we can turn the bag right side out. And my, is it easy? That's the way I do it. Whoop, whoop. Okay. before we move on, I'm going to go cut a piece of cardboard to pop in my bottom here. Then we're just going to attach the bottom and bind it. So it should be pretty simple. I cut it out of a box. Don't cut part of the box that bends from a fold. You don't want to fold at all. You want it to be, because then it'll kind of be bending on the bottom, right? So I'm going to go in here. Straighten up the pocket. And they're real nice. Yeah. Alright. So that is down in the bottom. Now we have a nice sturdy base. Okay, we're going to bind the bottom here. And so if you're doing it this way, you're going to have a little extras in those corners that were boxed out. So I'm just going to trim them off and attach the binding. I'm just folding it over and clipping it down. It's going to be at a 1/4 inch. I'm not going to do it again at a 3/8. You could if you wanted though. It's just the bottom. Okay, so I've bound the bottom. And I'm just going to pop it in there. Okay, I'm going to bring you over so you can look on the inside. So you can see here on the inside, it's totally fine with a bound bottom. Looks great. Then we have all of our pockets. This one, I mean, you could have put a snap. I think it's big enough for a snap, but it's not necessary. Yeah, so there you have the bound bottom. Still gotta do my lid. Get the wrinkles out, but boy, is that sharp. Turned out really good. So I'm gonna add the pins on the front. I'm gonna make the flag. And it's good to go. Good to go. I would say on the next one, I think I just want more. I want more structure on this front. But I think once it's stuffed, it's fine. But it would be nice to have a little bit more structure. Maybe I just put the structure here only. Or from like here around only. That looks great. We're just going to go ahead and attach our hardware for the pattern. Here's that bottom. That's a nice bottom right there. Look at it. Perfect. Good job, Bestie. Are you my best friend or something? Where the hell did my zipper go? Man down! Man down! How many words can Amber say in a day? There's no